There we go. Make sure that's set up. Come on now. Go. Why is this not working? There we go. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Episode 68. Just got to get my thumbnail in real quick, and we will get started talking about all of the Ashes of Creation related things that have happened recently. I'm sure nothing exciting or dramatic has happened in the last 48 or 72 hours, so it might be boring. Go. That have happened recently. I'm sure. Go. All right, I am set up. Nyce is just getting his end set up, and we'll get started here shortly. How's everybody doing? Right.
All right. Hello, gamers. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in. I am good to go. All right. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome on in.
There we go.
Big milestone.
We're almost there, man. We're almost there.
Yes. How you doing, Lobster? Welcome on in. All right, so this will be a fun one. Let's go ahead and get into it. If you're watching this at a later date, we appreciate you guys. Oh, there's some echo. I apologize. 1 second. Oh, yeah, I got two things duplicated. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had two microphones on this profile for some reason. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this one. Turn the music down just a little bit. All good now. Appreciate you. Nice to see no one too. Yeah. How you doing, Katana? All right, so welcome to another episode of the Voices of Vera with myself, Nyce Gaming, no one, and of course you, the Voices of Vera. Today is episode 68. 68 episodes of this Talking Ashes of Creation. We are so close to that milestone, that huge milestone of episode 69. And content creator Sawman UK called dibs on episode 69 a long time ago, so that'll be next week's episode. So yeah. So today we're gonna get straight into it. No beating around the bush. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. A lot has changed since the last Voices of Era. We couldn't do last week. I was very sick last week actually too. So yeah. JR says, "What's up, boys? Here in AOC podcast and watching TV shows is how we fast travel time to Friday for more AOC." And Katonic says, "Going to listen to you while we do dishes. Let's go."
That's
So,
excellent.
and you guys forgive me. I still am kind of sick. Like my voice is like slowly recovering. So do pardon me if you guys hear me having the Steven cough or coughing a lot this stream, which is like not usual. But yeah. So, anyways, Ashes of Creation just had its third weekend and a lot happened. We got some gameplay in. I was too sick, so I didn't stream Saturday or Sunday, but I was playing all weekend with the guild. It was a good time, very fun time. And yeah, nothing else happened. No one. How was your
Yeah.
weekend?
It was a good time, man. Yeah, it's been fun. We're not going to go too much into guild stuff, but as you guys know, this was the first weekend that the first wave of phase 1 got in, the November 8th people, and a lot of people in the guild were already a couple weeks in, and then we had a bunch of people getting onboarded, and so it felt like the guild kind of all took it upon themselves to get as many people caught up to speed as quickly as possible, which was really cool to see. Like literally, I was just popping around from chat to chat all weekend, seeing where everybody was, what people needed, and it was just people hopping in and going, "Hey, you got a spot? I want to grind. I'm this level. What do you need?" And it was really cool to see that. Like everybody just was like, "Yeah, we're ready to play." And
Yeah.
they gave us the extra day as well, and so yeah, a lot of
Awesome.
shenanigans was had. I had a very fun weekend.
Very good weekend, very good guild, very good community. I saw a lot of people helping new players. I was helping new players. It was a really good time. So Ragu here says, got to get that griefing under control. Does AOC have stockades where we can throw things at the imprisoned? So that's actually funny. I actually hope they would do that instead of banning. You see this in games like Call of Duty where instead of banning the cheater, they'll like humiliate them in some sort of way or make them like unable to play almost. I think something like that is always fun. Was it Arcade, you guys, that had like in-game prisons or something like that? I think that's hilarious. But let's go ahead and address that topic. If you see the title of the stream, you may already know, but griefing. This has become a huge conversation in the Ashes of Creation community over the last 3 days or so.
2 years.
And
2 years.
well, technically, yeah, it's been going on for a long time. People are afraid of griefing. And I know you have a lot to say about this. I posted a video. Asmongold reacted to that video recently. And we're going to get right into it and address this. So, griefing has been a long time fear when it comes to Ashes of Creation. Anytime you have an open world PvP MMO, it's like, okay, how are players going to abuse this? How are we going to how are players going to be able to affect other players' experiences, right? That's always been like, how's this going to work? Is the corruption system going to work? How is this flagging system going to work? Should it just be a regular flagging system where you can not consent to PvP? AOC has a system in which PvP is not optional. It's always technically on. But
Yep.
there's ways to balance that, which I feel they've done a good job balancing. Now, what happened is, well, Asmongold finally tried Ashes of Creation this previous weekend. I think that was Saturday. And well, it kind of went how you and I said it was going to go. So many different episodes. You guys can, especially you longtime Voices of Era listeners, you guys will have me on record saying, hey, protect Asmongold. Like his first impression is very important to the marketing of this game. Not streamer privilege or anything like that, but there's going to be people that like in every time he plays a new game, they're going to swarm around him and try to grief him.
Yes.
Before we get into, I mean, you guys, long story short, what happens? He loaded in, and as you could expect, people swarmed around him, killed him, constantly PK'd him. Everybody wanted to be seen on screen. That's a rough summary of what happened. It didn't last too long, right? So let's go ahead and say it like it is. Go ahead and get our takes out the way for the most part. It's a complicated subject, but I want to go ahead and get into it by saying this. Asmongold's, and I explained this in my video, but I'm going to do it again because I think people saw the beginning of the video of Asmon getting killed, like, oh, that's going to happen to me. Asmongold's situation was a one-off. It was an outlier. It is not typical of it's not your typical Ashes of Creation experience, right? That is not what's happening when you load into Ashes of Creation. As soon as you walk through the portal, you're getting immersed, and before you can even, fix your keybind, some guy's ganking you with some high-level character. That's just not the case. We are not Asmongold. I'm not Asmongold. You definitely are, especially a non-streamer is definitely not Asmongold. That's not going to be your experience. Matter of fact, a lot of big streamers streamed this game and their first impressions and did not have that issue. I can't stress how much this was a one-off, and that's not indicative or representative of the Ashes of Creation community or the corruption system as a whole. Furthermore, The team had this plan for phase two. It is now being bumped up for hopefully this upcoming weekend where they're implementing the safe zones, some safeguards like, you're not vulnerable to PvP until level 3, level 5, whatever they decide, right? That's still up in the air, but they want to get a PvP suppression zone. I think a lot of people saw this image of Ashes of Creation and just ignored the corruption system or like why this wouldn't be a constant issue.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about this, and I don't want to ramble without letting you get in here. So let's just, I'll go ahead and start reading chat. And if you want to go ahead and give your take on the whole situation and then talk about that.
Yeah. So my perspective is very similar to yours. I wasn't going to do a video on this, but we are currently in a very small content creation space where if something kind of big happens to a bigger streamer, the waves are felt everywhere. And so people will go and comment. It doesn't matter what the video is about. They'll just comment on another video. And so I had people commenting on my videos recently and older ones are like, wow, this looks like a great game to PK low levels at the starting zone. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you watched the Asmongold video. Okay. And I felt the need to do a video for the same reason. Like I have people commenting on my channel. It's like, we need to talk about this. I have over 60 hours into the first 3 weekends of Alpha 2. I've played quite a bit. Obviously, my experience is anecdotal, but I mean, I'm not telling you lies. I'm telling you my experience. I'm also talking to other people in the community, and a lot of people that do want to PK currently are very annoyed that the corruption penalties are so harsh. And they're like, guys, I would love to push people out of a grind spot. I would love to, but if they don't flag up, there's nothing I could do. I'm not going to risk 3 pieces of gear. Like, we're just going to have to sit here and hold hands together and sing Kumbaya and trying to pull ads on each other because the risk for losing gear is way too harsh. It's extremely penalizing. And same thing nyce said as well. We've had Pirate Software play for the last 3 weekends. We've had Esfon play. We had Soda Pop and play. A lot of other big content creators played, and they weren't getting stream sniped in the same way. Now, if Intrepid comes out and they want to put a safe zone in the starter area for Alpha 2, that's fine by me. That's fine by me starting out for alphas. I can understand that perspective. I don't think there's a place for griefing people in starting zones. You're literally trying to make somebody upset that hasn't even gotten their hands on the game. I don't think there's a place for it in this game. With that being said, I don't see why there's an issue. Like, it happened to Asmongold. There was a situation that happened. It was corrected quickly. Literally, the developers were on call right away and warned these people and then banned them. And they've said multiple times, I posted in my video as well, they've said before that if you're griefing somebody, if you're trying to make somebody's life miserable, that is a violation of their terms and service. And they came out and they banned the people for violating terms and service of griefing somebody else. Doesn't matter who they are. Obviously, there's a lot more witnesses when 60,000 people are watching it, and you're kind of an idiot for doing it. But this is the last thing I want to talk about here on this nyce, but what really grinds my gears in this situation is we have a situation where an outlier event happened and then was fixed by the dev team. It was fixed. How many times have we played games where these types of situations just continue to run rampant? They continue to happen, and you continually just wear and erode away at the community because the development team doesn't step forward and do something. In this situation, people should be like, yeah, there are some bad actors. There's a shit ton of people watching Asmongold stream. There's bad people doing stuff sometimes, and the team took care of it. And they set an example that if you want to go do this in front of a bunch of people, you're going to get banned. And it reminds me of the analogy I'll give, and something I was thinking about earlier today is I'm a poker player, nyce. You already know this, but in poker you have odds. You have a percent chance of things happening. And so if you and I go all in, for example, and you have aces and I have kings, you're going to win 4 out of 5 times, right? There are some people in that situation where when they have aces, after they lose versus kings, they get this thing in their head where they're like, I know that was the right play, but I lost a lot of money. I'm just not going to do this anymore, right? I just can't handle it. And so they end up making the wrong decision further on down the line, even though it's the right thing to do. And it may be a terrible analogy in this situation, but the point is the entire process that Intrepid has is good. There's bad actors. And so people are like, well, we should change the process. We should change the process for what's happening. What? So these guys can get banned faster? Is that what you're trying to do? What other outcome are you hoping to have happen here? There was a situation that happened and it got fixed. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
This Intrepid has made a lot of quick fixes, and they addressed that quick, and they're already planning to address it. Like we said earlier, that protection zone. So someone in chat said, MMO that has forced PK literally should have safe zones for AFKs and low level characters. It's that simple. So to address that, and you're not wrong. So let's go ahead and start off by saying that guy's not wrong. I can't say your name or else I'll get banned. And by the way, it's hilarious. Tour, I'll call you Tour. An MMO that has forced PK literally should have safe zones for AFKs, low levels, and that's simple. That is their intent. So the thing with Ashes of Creation, it is currently in its Alpha 2 phase and phase 1 of said Alpha 2. So currently what they're trying to test right now is just networking and performance and, ironing out a couple of annoying or big bugs. That safe zone implementation, they had that planned for phase 2. It's just not there yet. Now, the thing is, they have most of their corruption system online. It's not like perfectly balanced. If anything, it's too punishing. We actually have complaints that PvP is not happening frequent enough, or that going corrupted, like PKing a person, is too punishing. That's a legitimate. I know it sounds crazy to believe, but that's a legitimate narrative in the community right now. Is that, hey, this is too penalizing. Like, I can't PvP. I can't kill players. There's players that are angry about that. Just to give you an idea about how punishing corruption is, I don't have the list in front of me, but after you PK a player, you deal 35% less damage to players. Well, just overall. You take like 30+% more damage.
I posted it in our chat if you want to read it or put it on your.
Yeah. Let me just read this, so we have it like perfectly right here. Here we go. Perfect. Guards will attack you on site, because I saw this comment a lot. So just like a little caveat here, you guys. My video got a lot of views talking about the Asmon situation. There's 1,000+ comments. I read as much as I could, but a lot of the stuff I saw was kind of repeated, and a lot of it out of ignorance. Now, when I say ignorance, I don't mean like, oh, you're dumb. I mean literally the definition of ignorance, by which I mean you don't know.
They don't know better.
Yeah, you just don't know better. And I was telling Ellis, like, this is like me commenting or giving my take about the new League of Legends patch. I never played that game. I don't know enough about it to have so it's not their fault. They sell one part of a video and they're like, oh, this is my opinion on Ashes now. And anyways, so guards will attack you on site and players will hunt you. So you can attack a corrupted player with no penalty to you. You don't even flag up once they get this right. You have to grind off a lot of XP, which it's a lot. It's like 90k XP, I think someone told me, for corruption level 1. You deal 35% less damage to non-combatant players. You suffer 35% reduced mitigation, max health, and 35% less max mana. You move 10% slower. You incur 8% XP debt upon death, which is more than your normal XP debt from dying.
A little bit.
You drop 35% more resources upon death. And here's the kicker. Here's the one why PvP is actually very seldom. Yeah, bounty hunters will be jobless. Well said. Here's why corruption is seldom outside of the Asmongold situation. You drop 2 to 3 equipped items randomly upon death. That's the most detrimental thing. If you guys know how hard it is to acquire gear in this game right now, people do not want to risk that gear. So they're not just PKing. And this is like more proof that like the Asmongold situation was like a one-off. And I see a couple of you in chat like agreed, like, hey, other streamers didn't have an issue. So yeah, it's very penalizing. Now let's kind of circle back to more of that. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, Nyce. The screenshot that Nyce is showing you, that's my character. For those of you guys that don't know, I got stage 2 corruption twice this weekend. It is not fun. It is not enjoyable. Dishing out 35% less damage, having 35% less mitigation and health, moving 10% slower. Like I had the best possible outcome for getting stage 2 corruption with me, because I had a person in my guild kill me and take my gear. That's the best possible outcome. But I still had to work off the XP debt. I still spent a couple of hours grinding off the XP debt that I incurred for this happening. And one of them was accidental. And so The first time I had this happen, I dropped 6 pieces of gear, which is like half of your gear slots roughly. Nyce. How long do you think it would take you to get 6 gear pieces?